this award is to be in the company of these other award winners and in the company of all of you today. But I'm especially appreciative of the fact that this award is coming from the Urban League. It makes it even more significant to me. I have looked at the mission of the Urban League, and it seems to me that they are focused on the factors that enable everyone to realize the American dream. Historian James Turslow Adams originated that dream, and he defined it as that dream of a land in which life should be better and richer and fuller for everyone. Adams didn't mean rich in the name and then in terms of material things. He talked about it in terms of spiritual terms. He distinguished the American dream as a dream of social order in which each man and each woman shall be able to attain the fullest stature of which they are innately capable. And he recognized that they should be recognized by others for what they are, regardless of the circumstances of their birth or position. There are a number of disadvantages of being 88 years old. And I could enumerate them, but I won't. But one of the great advantages is that I have had a lifetime of experience that shapes my thinking about what life in general, but especially on how we can assure that our communities, our states, our nation will be places where there's an opportunity for the American dream to be realized by everyone. Recently, I was the keynote speaker for AVOW. That stands for Advancing Voices of Women. It's a nonpartisan group focusing on strengthening the voices of women in public life. And I was particularly impressed by the fact that it was a very diverse group, racially, ethnically, politically. And every single woman in attendance at that event was either running for office or had made a commitment to be very significantly involved in the political process. Every single one. I was pleased that I had an opportunity while there to sit in on a discussion, a very robust discussion, about the concept of wokeness. Now, my understanding of woke and wokeness, I'll admit, was very superficial. And perhaps, just perhaps, unduly influenced by negative connotations attributed by politicians whose understanding is even more superficial than mine. 4 examples will suffice. First, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. We reject woke ideology. We fight woke in the legislature, we fight woke in the schools, we fight woke in the corporations, and we will never, ever surrender to the woke mob. Then there's former President Donald Trump. I don't like the term woke because I hear woke, woke, woke. It's just a term they use. Half the people can't even define it. They don't know what it is. Nikki Haley, former UN ambassador and a candidate for president. Wokeness is a virus more dangerous than any pandemic. And finally, former Vice President Mike Pence. It should be banned from every school at every level in every state in America. Wow. Well, the discussion at the AVOW conference was really very enlightening to me. It enabled me to understand that woke refers to being alert to racial or social discrimination and injustice. Knowing what's going on in the community related to racism and social injustice. It also opened my eyes to the fact that in this age of communication, there is such a serious lack of opportunities to sit down together and talk about topics such as woke and wokeness. There's just no opportunities to speak up for that. There's a lot of speechifying, and declarations of opinion, such as the examples I just cited, but very little chance for the give and take that deepens our understanding of such important topics as woke and wokeness. Now, the concept of woke, as I understand it, is not a monolithic or static one. It's constantly changing. It's evolving and adapting to new cultures, political and social contexts. But clearly, the woke concept had its root in advocating awareness of social and political issues affecting African Americans. And that continues to be a focus. But woke, nowadays, refers to being aware of or well-informed in a political or cultural sense, especially regarding issues surrounding marginalized communities. It describes someone who has woken up to the issues of social justice. And you know, the more I listened to those folks at the Vow Institute, I just really was impressed that these intelligent women were really seeing this in such an important way. The more I came to realize just how rare it is also to have that kind of dialogue, to be able to sit together and reason together. We're bombarded with opinions and ballyhooing by politicians that seldom have the opportunity for reasoned dialogue that we can gain insights from each other. One of our challenges, I think, is the fact that those who are the loudest about woke are not and never have been a part of a marginalized community. They are not and never have been part of a marginalized community. It also made me recall a time when we were revising the medical staff bylaws at the hospital that I served for many years. And the question of gender neutrality came up in terms of the wording in the bylaws. And the male physician who chaired the committee said, well, we don't have to bother with that. Just say whenever there's male term, make sure it refers to female as well. But we had a really great female physician on that committee who sat up a little higher in her chair at that point and said, wait a minute, it is important. You may not understand it, but you've never been a woman. She made her point. And it had a lasting effect on me. It really made me realize that you've got to look at these situations not from your own personal experience, but much more broadly and more understandably. I've never experienced racial or social discrimination or injustice. Never have. I've never been a part of a marginalized community. But I continue to grow in my understanding of how these experiences have shaped the lives of others who have had that experience. I hope we can overcome the politicalization of woke by reflecting on the importance of assuring that our communities, our state, and our nation will be places where there's an opportunity for that American dream to be realized by everyone. And as I look at the 5 goals of the National Urban League, it just seems to me that it's a wonderful roadmap. The factors that will assure that everyone, whatever their race, gender, religion, sexual orientation, or disability, that they can realize the American dream. Listen to the 5 key goals of the Urban League. I won't have to turn around for each one of these either. First, every American child is ready for college, work, and life. Second, that every American has access to jobs with a living wage and good benefits. Third, every American lives in safe, decent, affordable, and energy-efficient housing on fair terms. Fourth, every American has access to quality and affordable health care solutions. And finally, that every American has an equal right and responsibility to fully participate in our democracy and civic processes. And all people have a right to justice and to fairness. 5 key focuses that will help to make sure all of us, regardless of our background, can experience that great American dream. I'm living proof that one's never too old to learn. And I have learned a lot about woke. Now, it's time for me to find ways to use my awakening about woke to make a positive difference in the lives of others who have not had the opportunities and advantages that I may have had. That's a commitment that I willingly make. It's been said that the starting point of all achievement is desire. And I hope that each of you share my desire that we will strive to make our communities, state, and nation